The moment he transmigrated, his drop-dead, gorgeous girlfriend dumped him in public. He figured he'd landed in some run-of-the-mill urban romance setup. But out of nowhere, a cold mechanical voice echoed in his mind, System Alert. Spiritual energy revival will begin in 1 year. The world as he knows it will collapse into chaos and apocalypse. While he was still dazed, the system dropped a bombshell gift. Congratulations, host. Binding complete. Passive skill unlocked. Auto creation of cultivation techniques. Meanwhile, breaking news hit the airwaves. Fishermen discovered a colossal abalone along the coast, so massive it took 10 men to surround it, suspected to be a mutated product of nuclear waste. In a top-tier national park, ancient trees were growing out of control. Roots sprawled for miles, drawing swarms of stunned tourists. Fissures split the earth wide open, veins of power stirring beneath, and monstrous vines descended from the sky, as if fairy tales were bleeding into reality. The entire campus was buzzing, not about the so-called spiritual awakening news, but with the usual clickbait takes. Mutant monsters and world-ending signs sounded just as ridiculous as that corpse-biting scandal in a neighboring country years ago. None of that mattered compared to today's real headline. Campus goddess Chu Qingli was breaking up with her boyfriend. Live. I mean, come on, she's been slumming it. She already got early admission to Qingxing University, and that guy can't even pass the national exam. Their futures aren't even in the same league. What was his name again? Fong something. Chu Qingli finally spoke, her tone calm but firm. Fong Yi, I've thought it through. What we have, it's just not realistic anymore. High school romances always hit that moment of truth. Maybe this is ours. We're just not right for each other. To walk hand in hand for life, you need courage and compatibility. So let's break up. Deep down, she sneered, whatever stunt you try now, I won't change my mind. But to her surprise, Fong Yi said nothing at all. The crowd went wild. Why isn't he saying anything? Did he snap? That's Chu Qingli. I'd be on my knees begging by now. Seriously, guy looks like a total loser, way out of her league. Just as the mockery peaked, Fong Yi finally raised his head. His voice was calm, emotionless. All right, if that's all, I'll be going. Chu Qingli was caught off guard. Was he acting cool? Or had he truly stopped caring? She blurted out, I don't care what you're thinking. Whatever tricks you try, there's no way I'll ever get back with you. Got that? But he simply looked at her like she was some kind of clown performing for free. With a voice colder than ice, he said, don't flatter yourself. I've got better things to do than waste time on a joke. Then he turned and walked away. No hesitation, no second glance. Only he knew the truth. Neither Chu Qingli nor these gawking classmates had the slightest clue about the catastrophe looming ahead. Money? Status? Academic clout? All of it would turn to ash. He wasn't just some jilted student. He was a man reborn from the ashes of a ruined future. As for Chu Qingli, she was just a fleeting memory. Right now, he had bigger things to care about. A campus goddess? Public opinion? Let the world burn, because soon it would. The real threat was the chaos creeping in from the cracks. Humanity itself was on the brink. And it all began with the message that flashed in his mind last night. Alert! Full-scale spiritual revival will begin in 364 days, 11 hours, and 59 minutes. Once activated, irreversible changes will sweep across the world. The rules of the old world were about to collapse. In the new era, only one thing would define worth: raw, unyielding power. Hearing the voice in his mind, Fong Yi shouted, Wait! Who are you? A translucent panel appeared before him, answering coldly. Origin, Cosmic Core. This system contains the ultimate algorithm, capable of generating cultivation techniques based on spiritual items the host interacts with. Current techniques, 0. He instinctively reached out to touch the panel, only for his hand to pass right through it. Suddenly, a colossal beast burst from the screen, roaring as it charged. But what chilled Fong Yi to the bone was the mangled corpse in the monster's mouth. His corpse. The system's voice returned, emotionless. That is the fate of your former self, and the fate awaiting billions across Blue Star. The words dragged open the gates of memory. In his past life, He had been nothing more than a powerless bystander. He clung to survival, just trying to outlast the apocalypse. But he watched his country fall, his people slaughtered. No matter how hard he ran, the mutated beast caught him. He died in despair, his final breath filled with fury and vengeance. Perhaps it was that rage that summoned the system to him. And now, reborn, 1 year before the spiritual revival begins, he returns with fire in his veins and a second chance to change everything. Right now, most people hadn't sensed the awakening of spiritual energy, but he had. And in this gap before the world caught on, he would seize every anomaly and make it his own. A blinding light engulfed him, and his surroundings shifted. Then came a voice, calm, commanding, mechanical. System recalibration complete. Host successfully bound. Initiating new cultivation pathway. Everything in existence can now serve as raw material for custom cultivation techniques. Gather strength, refine your powers, and rise as a cultivator, one capable of saving this crumbling world. The scene snapped back to reality. A massive street-side screen was playing breaking news. Humanity is facing an unprecedented threat. There is no precedent, no historical guidebook. We must adapt or perish. Fong immediately noticed the government wasn't downplaying the strange phenomena anymore, nor were they offering hollow reassurances. Instead, they urged the public to prepare. That in itself was the clearest sign. In the past, anything bordering on the supernatural would have been suppressed and buried. But now, it was everywhere. A soft warning, unmistakably intentional. This was how Xi'an Nation always handled crises, quietly, rationally, and with subtle trust building, guiding the people to stay calm and believe in their country. Sure, his method was slower. None of that zero-cost minigun rampage stuff other transmigrators got, but it worked. Better, cleaner, stronger. The system had said, all things can serve as source material. That meant wherever there was an anomaly, that's where he needed to be. He unlocked his phone and immediately spotted the top trending headline. Chingching University issues heat warning to incoming students, UV intensity at record levels, highest in a century. Nearby, 2 students scoffed while scrolling the same article. Great. Now universities are chasing clout? Come on, UV this strong would kill people. Fake news. Probably a paid, trending tag. Fong, he looked up at the sky. Thick clouds, heavy as lead. It looked like a storm was coming. But Qingcheng was just 15 minutes away. Why the weather gap? His screen displayed the reported temperature, 74 degrees Celsius. That was no glitch. Something was seriously off. Most people would shrug this off as clickbait. Another exaggerated headline. But not him. He knew this was it. His first real opportunity. In a flash, he arrived at the northern gate of Qingcheng University, the quietest entrance. The moment he stepped foot inside, the air felt different. Something unnatural surged beneath the surface. He crouched down, fingers brushing against a strange layer of golden dust. Then the system spoke again, detected extreme Yang-type fluctuations. Unlocking Yang attribute template. In a heartbeat, streams of blazing gold energy shot upward, crashing into his body like divine fire. Agony tore through him, like every bone was melting and reforming in sacred light. His body erupted with golden brilliance, illuminating the entire north gate like a walking sun. All around the campus, students were freaking out. Holy crap, am I hallucinating? Is that a super scion? Meanwhile, Fong, he was barely holding it together. Gritting his teeth, he shouted in desperation. Is it done yet? I feel like I'm about to explode. Just as his mind was going numb, the system chimed in, compilation complete. You have acquired Yang-type cultivation technique, Golden Sun breathing method. Meanwhile, over at the main entrance of Qingcheng University, orientation was in full swing. A crowd of upperclassmen had surrounded a cold-looking girl, eager to offer help. Hey, need help with your luggage? Which dorm are you heading to? I can walk you there. Here's our club's flyer. Want to scan the QR code? Maybe drop your contact. But Chu Qingli brushed them all off with an icy, thanks. But no, She had barely finished her sentence when a thunderous boom echoed from the north side of campus. Moments later, the loudspeakers came to life. Emergency alert. Extreme heat anomaly detected near the north gate. All students are advised to evacuate the area immediately. Hearing the explosion, Chu Qingli frowned. Another anomaly? Something's definitely going on. I need to check it out. Back at the north gate, Fong Yi was steadily recovering as the solar energy finished merging with his body. The panel lit up. Gaze upon the sun, breathe in its blaze. Begin body refinement using the golden sun breathing method. Technique acquired automatically. No study required. You have received 50 script points. Fong Yi squinted at the new stat. Script points? What the hell are those supposed to do? Whatever. Looks useful. I'll figure out how they work later. As the solar anomaly faded, the blinding heat dissipated, and the sky slowly returned to normal. Students began gathering nearby, murmuring to each other. Did anyone else feel the sun vanish for a sec? I swear it got cooler all of a sudden. Come on, let's go. Something wild happened at the north gate. Just then, the university principal stormed onto the scene, shouting, "Why are you all crowding here? Didn't I text you to stay away? Get to orientation, or I'm docking your credits." Grumbling, the students reluctantly began to disperse. As the crowd thinned out, a woman in a dark cloak stepped forward. Her tone was calm but firm. Re-establish the perimeter. Seal off the entire Northgate sector. Meanwhile, Fong Yi's system chimed once more. You have successfully purified Grade A contaminated zone. Qingqing University, Northgate. Contaminated zones were officially classified areas by the Xian Nation, sites where spiritual anomalies had triggered sudden energy surges. Their danger levels varied, but all carried extreme risk. As Fong Yi stared at the terms contaminated zone and official tag, his heart skipped a beat. Wait, does this mean I'm not the only one? Before he could think further, a loud alarm blared nearby. Warning, Northgate sector is now sealed. All unauthorized personnel must evacuate immediately. He glanced over and spotted uniformed military officers approaching the area. His expression darkened. Crap, this got too big. They've already sent people in. Without hesitation, he melted into the crowd and slipped away from the scene. Moments later, the cloaked woman arrived at the north gate. She knelt down, scooped some of the golden dust from the ground, and brought it to her nose. Her eyes widened in shock. This isn't a natural occurrence. It was artificially triggered. Could there be another who's awakened early? Not far from her, Chu Qingli overheard the words artificial and spiritual energy, her mind reeling. What? Something that terrifying caused by a person. A figure flashed in her memory. Wait, was that Fong Yi? But she quickly shook her head. Don't be ridiculous, Chu Qingli. With his grades? There's no way he'd even get into Qingcheng, let alone be here. Cut to Fong Yi's apartment. He lay sprawled across his bed, shirtless, panting heavily as steam rolled off his skin. What the hell? This heat, it's still inside me. Why want to go away? Even cold showers and blasting the AC weren't helping. The scorching energy inside him kept surging. At this rate, he wouldn't be getting any sleep tonight. Hold up, that whole light show earlier. Did anyone notice? I should check the news. He opened his phone and instantly spotted the top trending topic. Spiritual Cultivation Association releases official realm classification. Spiritual Cultivation Association? The name rang a faint bell. Weren't they some weird online group that occasionally posted cultivation manuals? Most people thought it was a roleplay gimmick or some fringe spiritual cult. Wait a second. The people I saw earlier at Qingqing University, could they have been from this association? He quickly tapped the link. A structured list popped up on screen. Realm 1. Ghostsmith. Refine the body using the divine craftsmanship of natural energy. Forge a weapon of flesh. Realm 2. Spiritcraft. Channel the forces of nature to awaken ancestral bloodlines and cultivate inner energy. The list continued, 3rd realm, 4th, all the way to the ultimate realm. At the bottom was a friendly reminder. As spiritual revival accelerates, this classification is provided to prevent confusion. Cultivators are advised to self-assess and proceed with caution. Staring at the screen, Fong Yi murmured, "The descriptions sound mystical, sure, but the layout, the watermark, it's classic Xianation format. This looks legit. In my previous life, I never even heard of this association. As a powerless civilian, I wasn't anywhere near this kind of info. By the time the world changed, I was already too deep in survival mode. Just staying alive cost everything. So this spiritual cultivation association, maybe it's the government's way of signaling early awakeners. Fine, I'll follow their lead and reactivate the Golden Sun breathing method. Step 1. Refine the body into qi. Forge it into a vessel worthy of holding natural energy. Step 2. Manipulate qi to shape the form of the Ghostsmith's divine axe. Fong, he looked up. A shimmer danced across his vision. Wait, is this what they meant by Ghostsmith? At that moment, the system chimed in. Congratulations, you've reached Realm 1. Ghostsmith, 1 star. Script point function unlocked. You may now forcibly implant your compiled data into any object. Available script points, 50. Fong Yi's eyes lit up. Almost forgot about those. So compiled data means things like the Golden Sun breathing method, and implanting means what exactly? He glanced at the glass cup on his desk. Would this count as an object? Instantly, the cup glowed faintly gold. A prompt appeared. Consume script points to infuse yang attribute into this item. A small smile tugged at his lips. So that's what it means, infusing attributes. Like enchanting items. If I say yes, this cup becomes a yang-enhanced artifact. But what if it was a gun? Or a sword? Could I forge my own personalized spirit weapon? From the look of it, I'll collect more attributes down the line. A custom-crafted, attribute-bound weapon. That could be my ace in the apocalypse. Fingering the glowing cup, Fong Yi muttered, "You'll do for a test run. If it works, I'll forge a true weapon. Maybe something cast in spirit fire. Gotta be fully armed for the monsters coming soon." But just as he was preparing for the future, a rustling sound echoed from the bushes below his apartment. In the next instant, a mutated rabbit with matted red fur and glowing eyes emerged into the street. It was gnawing ferociously on a man's corpse. Midnight came and went. As Fong Yi slept, a high-pitched squeaking stirred him awake. He frowned. Mice? That didn't come from my room. Not the plumbing either. Maybe someone's pet rat. Though I just stepped into Ghostsmith realm. I guess heightened hearing means I can pick up sound from other apartments too. But something felt off. The noise wasn't fading, it was getting closer. He sat up, tense. The sound, it was moving. He threw open the door. A chill ran down his spine. It wasn't just noise. Something was walking. Suddenly, a black blur dropped from above, lunging straight at him, eyes wide. Fong Yi barely dodged and caught sight of the attacker. A mutated rabbit beast with jagged claws and glowing red eyes. An aberration. Damn, even with my past life's memories, seeing one up close still gives me chills. Cut to the sky. A military helicopter hovered over the city, its blades chopping through the night. Over the comms, a voice crackled with urgency. Target still not secured. The mutated rabbit that devoured the Dark Knight spirit fruit has evaded capture. It's too fast. A black-clad woman studied her scanner, then bolted toward the cityscape. She just caught a trace of the beast's lingering aura. Dark Knight aura reacquired, she reported. Target has entered a densely populated residential zone, 20 kilometers from our position. HQ responded immediately. All squads converge. Do not let escape. If we lose control here, every civilian in that district is at risk. Be advised, mutation is incomplete, but further evolution is highly likely. This thing could become even stronger. Stay sharp. Meanwhile, back in Fong Yi's apartment, the mutated rabbit lunged. Fangs bared, hunger blazing in its eyes. At the last second, his eyes flared with golden light. His body vanished in a golden blur, dodging the strike with ease. Whoa, he thought. Post-breakthrough, my body's a whole different beast. I can see its movements like slow motion, and my reflexes, they're insane. But this kind of creature showing up so soon. It's not even fully evolved yet, not like the ones I saw later in my past life. The Dark Knight attribute, at this stage, only makes it more vicious, more unstable. No choice. I have to kill it tonight, or everyone in this building is dead. With no hesitation, Fong lunged and grabbed the beast mid-leap. Gripping tight, he spun with full force. Its weakness is the tail. He hurled it out the window and jumped after it, eyes blazing, ready to finish what he started. Fong, he clenched his right fist. Golden energy surged and coiled around it, blazing like a miniature sun. With a roar, he struck. His fist pierced clean through the mutated rabbit's chest. But to his shock, the beast opened its jaws and began absorbing the residual yang energy from his strike. You're trying to absorb solar energy? Fong growled. You're mad. The sun's power is pure destruction. It'll tear you apart. As if on cue, a deafening boom erupted. The rabbit's body detonated from within, exploding into a mess of gore and burning fur. Fong, he stepped back, eyes scanning the scorched ground. That thing, it was starving, desperate to devour every ounce of power in me. Even with its Dark Knight attribute, it lunged at a natural counter like yang energy. It wasn't just mutated, it was ravenous. Beast mutations have already begun. If I were still that powerless nobody from my past life, everyone here would have been torn apart tonight. I need more than one technique. I need to gather as many powers as possible if I want to stand chance. Moments later, the black-clad woman arrived, her boots crunching on ash and debris. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she saw the remains. It's dead. Someone actually killed it. After confirming the area was secure, the black-clad woman reported through her comms. Target confirmed dead. Corpse is fragmented, beginning retrieval of remaining Dark Knight energy. But the moment her hand touched the residual energy on the ground, she recoiled slightly. It was burning hot. In that heat, she sensed a shockingly pure yang attribute. It was exactly like the one she detected at Chingchun University's North Gate. This can't be a coincidence, she muttered, then quickly called HQ. The rabbit wasn't killed by me. A new pioneer has emerged. High-purity yang attribute. HQ responded immediately. You're saying the North Gate purification event and the mutated rabbit, both were caused by the same person? And this person is only a Ghostsmith 1-star, yet has such pure elemental energy. Yes, same signature, same yang attribute. There's no record of anyone like this in our database. Someone this gifted. We need to make contact. Fast. Suspend your current mission. Priority 1 is finding this pioneer. Log their data. If possible, persuade them to join the Spiritual Cultivation Association. The woman nodded. Understood. But first, I need a milk tea. Despite the nonchalant tone, her thoughts were racing. Whoever this person is, they're a game changer. HQ's right. With power like that, we need them on our side, no matter what. Fong, he gazed out the window, sunlight spilling across his room. Morning is the key to the day, he murmured. And today's sunlight is blazing just right. Waking early really does help with cultivation. Bathe in the first light of dawn. The golden sun breathing method flows more smoothly than ever. Since reaching the Ghostsmith realm, he could feel his cultivated chi manifesting as threads of golden energy, gently coiling around the phantom form of a divine axe within him. After only a few breaths of practice, something shifted. His eyes snapped open. Already another breakthrough? The axe felt lighter, noticeably so. He smirked. Cultivation really is like chopping wood. Nothing fancy, just persistence. Clenching the axe with both hands, he swung, and the air itself split with a sonic crack. Right on cue, the system chimed. Congratulations. You've reached Ghostsmith realm. 2 stars. The power surged through his body. Muscles tightened. Blood roared like a river in flood. That was fast, he admitted. But I guess it's because I hadn't fully burned through the momentum from my last breakthrough. From here on, I need to build it step by step. No shortcuts. His gaze shifted to the package beside him, his newly delivered, fully forged weapon. I can't keep training here. The phenomena I trigger are getting way too loud. I need a new, quieter place. Cut to the Spiritual Cultivation Association's headquarters. A senior officer answered the phone, his tone sharp. Solar energy spike detected again? Let me guess, it's him. Meanwhile, Fong, he had made his way to a secluded riverside, far from the city. Consume script points to infuse Yang attribute into this item. He had the prompt and thought back. Last time I tried this with a figurine, it technically worked, but the thing melted. Guess not every object can handle infused power. But this blade, it's different. It feels like it was born from the same energy flowing through me. We're perfectly synced. Moments later, the system confirmed. Yang attribute successfully embedded. Fong, he gave the blade a few swings. Fluid, balanced, powerful. Now this is a real weapon. Let's see what you can really do. Raising the sword high, it erupted in a burst of radiant gold light. Like a piece of the sun itself had descended. With a shout, he slashed toward the distant horizon. A golden arc shot forth, slicing across the lake's surface, sending waves crashing like a tidal surge. Fong Yi watched the resulting geyser of water explode into the sky. Phew, that was close. Almost scorched the entire forest. He glanced at the rising smoke. Yeah, this is way too flashy. Time to vanish again. Not long after Fong Yi had left, a figure rushed onto the scene, visibly out of breath and fuming. You gotta be kidding me. I was just getting a milk tea, missed him again by this much. Ugh, this is totally a cursed week. But the moment she saw the scorched riverside, she froze. What the hell did that walking disaster do this time? How am I supposed to restore this place? Is there a hotline for elemental disasters? She groaned. Great, another report. The cleanup team's gonna roast me alive. Ever since that guy showed up, it's been one supernatural mess after another. Her mood shifted quickly when she spotted the lingering energy signature nearby. Eyes widening, she muttered, no way. He was only Ghostsmith 1-star last night. Now he's already 2-star. And that energy residue, it's refined, structured. Don't tell me. He's crafted a spirit weapon? Spirit weapons, or Lingbing, were forged by perfectly fusing elemental attributes into weapons, amplifying their power far beyond the norm. But spirit weapons are crazy rare. Even our association only has 2, and the energy core tech isn't even fully rolled out yet. So how'd he pull off? She stood silent for a moment, then forced a laugh. Yeah, right. I'm just overthinking this. No way he pulled all that off in one night. First things first, time to cool this river down before it starts boiling fish. Meanwhile, Fong Yi walked home deep in thought. I've got a Yang-type weapon now, but the system never said I'm limited to just that. Could I collect other attributes too? The system once said I could compile various functions. Anything in existence could become a scripting material. So if I acquire other attributes later, can I stack them onto this same weapon? Just then his phone buzzed. A message popped up. Hey, are you a pioneer too? Sorry, I checked your browser history. Notice you've been following all the recent spiritual energy anomaly threads. You even bookmarked the weird building post. I've got a few friends, pioneers like us. We meet up often, and we're looking for others who've awakened too. Fong Yi frowned. I forgot to turn on privacy mode, he replied. Yeah, I'm a newbie. The stranger responded almost instantly. That's awesome. How's your cultivation coming along? Managed to enter a realm yet? Man, that purification sigil trial is brutal. Rumor is even the national team elites are just mid-level ghostsmiths right now. So hey, we're basically on the same level. That last line made Fong Yi pause. So even the government's formal combat units are just at ghostsmith level. The stranger continued. By the way, I've got a juicy leak, new contaminated zone just popped up. Want to form a squad? Safer in numbers. We split the loot. Fong Yi's interest sharpened. Send me the location. Moments later, a compressed file arrived. Dark River Molten Dragon, full dossier.zip. Opening it, he found detailed data on a newly formed contaminated area. Dark River Furnace.it was once an underground river created by tectonic shifts, but thanks to the anomalies, the water had turned into molten lava. The entire zone was now a seething cauldron of heat and spiritual energy. Fong Yi's eyes glinted. A perfect match for my Yang attribute. This could be a gold mine. Without hesitation, he replied, I'm in. Let's squad up. Cut to a remote forested area in the Binmu district. A young man in tactical gear muttered impatiently, Zhang, when's this friend of yours supposed to show up? Another replied, "Hey, credit where it's due. Your map and dossier made it super easy to find this place." Zhang Xiaoya laughed modestly. "Ah, it was nothing. I should be thanking you both for joining the expedition. He'll be here soon. Once we're inside, let's watch each other's backs." Though she smiled on the surface, her thoughts told a different story. What a shame. These two seem decent, but I don't sense much potential. I was hoping to find a standout pioneer to recommend to the association. Zhang Xiaoya was no ordinary explorer. She was a cultural division officer of the Spiritual Cultivation Association. She knew a secret most pioneers didn't. The association was actually a front for a state-run agency. Becoming an official member wasn't just hard, it was nearly impossible without the right connections. I barely made it in myself after endless tests and some heavy family favors. If this mission turns up empty again, I'm probably in for another soul-crushing week of overtime. Just as she sighed, someone called out, "Is that Fong?" Sure enough, Fong approached calmly and greeted them. "Nice to meet you all." Zhang Xiaoya turned around, her eyes scanning him with professional instinct. So young, and if I'm not mistaken, already Ghostsmith 2-star. There's something about him. His presence is strong, but not overbearing. It's warm, steady. That's rare. Quickly regaining her composure, she raised her voice with a smile. "Great. Now that everyone's here, let's move out." Once inside the zone, Fong calmly said, "I'll take the lead. You handle the light." Hearing that, Zhang Xiaoya felt a flicker of warmth. "Got it, Fong Ji. Just be careful. Watch out for loose rocks." The rest of the group kept chatting as they walked. I thought everything in here turned to lava. A water droplet just landed on me. I almost screamed. Honestly, it's not as hot as I expected. Maybe we're not near the core yet. If anyone's getting tired, say something. Safety comes first. No hero acts. Fong listened quietly, thoughts stirring. I joined last, but they're treating me like one of their own. Whether it's genuine friendliness or just wanting someone reliable in this chaos, it feels real. Suddenly, Fong halted mid-step. His expression sharpened. Everyone followed his gaze and gasped. Molten red liquid bubbled and flowed across the path ahead. Lava! That's actual lava! But before anyone could react, Fong darted forward without hesitation. Zhang Xiaoya's eyes widened. "Wait, that's dangerous. Don't go running off." Then she watched in horror as Fong plunged his hand directly into the molten flow. "What are you doing? Are you insane? Someone grab him." But before anyone could move, the lava burst upward with a deafening roar. Boom! Just then, the system's voice rang out. Heavenly anomaly detected. Inner flame. Parsing in progress. Activating ultimate computational thread. New technique compiled. Crimson flame blade art. The system continued. Inner flame refers to extreme internal heat, explosive, volatile, and devastating in close combat. Crimson flame blade art must be used with a drawn weapon. Each slash ignites with roaring flame, the blade enveloped in fire. When battle intent surges, it can summon lightning-laced infernos, weaponized into pure destruction. Fong tightened his grip on his tang blade, a smirk forming. Perfect synergy. This skill matches my weapon exactly. System, consume script points and embed inner flame into the tang blade. Meanwhile, the others pointed toward him in awe. Look, he's okay. And his weapons absorbing lava energy. That must have been a breakthrough. The spiritual energy around here feels way calmer now. Great time for cultivation. The others nodded. Yeah, I can feel it too. Just a little focus, and I might enter the cultivation path. Same here. The energy's more stable and flowing easier than before. Zhang Xiaoya chuckled. Don't worry about a thing. I'm just here to gather data. You guys go ahead and cultivate. I'll keep watch. Moments later, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from the cave entrance. Zhang Xiaoya's expression tightened. Others had arrived, uninvited. 3 men strode in. One of them, a red-haired brute with a massive sword on his back, sneered. Who let the trash in? This spot's ours now. Get lost or get buried. Her heart sank. All 3. Ghostsmith 1-star. We're outmatched. Even if we all fought together, we'd lose. Still, she stepped forward, voice steady. Sorry, but we found the spot first. My friend is already cultivating. If you're willing, you can join us. There's enough energy for everyone. The red-haired thug barked a laugh and snarled, "Shut it, girly. You even stepped into the ghostsmith realm yet? Scram, or get crushed." Zhang Xiaoya clenched her fists. In this chaotic new world, strength means everything. The weak get nothing. But the Xia Nation won't allow lawlessness forever. As a member of the association, I have to stand for something. Just then, footsteps echoed from deeper within the cave. Fong Yi emerged, calm and composed. He stepped beside her, eyes locked on the red-haired man. Big muscles, small mind. All that bulk just to bully a girl. Without another word, he raised his tang blade and pointed it to the ground. In an instant, crimson energy surged around him. Fiery, intense, overwhelming. The red-haired man flinched, stepping back with a shout. "Watch it! Fall back now!" Meanwhile, the rest of the group, still meditating deeper in the cave, looked up in alarm. "What's going on out there?" Fong Yi narrowed his eyes. This world fell into chaos because too many cultivators embrace survival of the fittest. Words won't stop them. Only power will. Without hesitation, he raised his tang blade and bellowed, his voice like a thunderclap. "Get out!" The red-haired thug staggered back, panic flashing in his eyes. A second blast? What is this guy? A monster? Without waiting for another second, he turned and ran, dragging his two underlings with him. The others erupted in cheers. "Bro, that was insane. Dude, that slash, absolutely epic." Fong, he scratched his head modestly. "I just don't like bullies. Anyway, I think we've all gotten what we came for. Shall we head out?" Zhang Xiaoya quickly agreed. "Yes, the spiritual energy in this domain is depleted. We should move on." But deep down, as she watched his calm figure leading the way, her heart was still pounding. If he truly swung that blade, all that would have remained were scorched corpses. He's not just a strong cultivator. He's a prodigy with high-level attributes. I have to report this to the association immediately. Moments later, the Spirit Energy Association office picked up a call. "Xiaoya, are you sent? Another high-attribute pioneer just appeared?" The word "another" caught Zhang Xiaoya off guard. "Wait, another?" But the voice on the other end remained calm. "It's fine. I'll log it. If you get any updates, notify me immediately." The call ended with a soft click. Xiaoya turned to her mentor, her face lighting up. "Teacher, this might be our lucky day. 2 high-attribute pioneers back-to-back. 269. But the older woman just scoffed. "Lucky? You think we can handle those kinds of people?" High-attribute pioneers are bound to become key figures in the future. Powerful, influential, untouchable. Honestly, I'm starting to consider quitting. Scene shift. Fong Yi, walking along a street, suddenly sneezed. Someone talking trash about me? But around him, people were murmuring excitedly. "Whoa, check out that cosplay. Dude, that prop sword looks way too real. And his presence is insane." Suddenly, his phone buzzed. A trending post on the forum read, "Cultivation fiction turning real? Golden light over ancient cave, purple chi rising in the east, and someone swears they saw a dragon fly by. Anonymous source claims a man with a tang blade trained there and chased everyone off single-handedly." Fong Yi smirked at the screen. "Can't say I'm surprised. That inner flame burst hit 2,000 degrees Celsius. No way it wouldn't cause a spectacle. But whoever leaked the details, I doubt it was Old Li or Zhang Xiao. Those guys absorb tons of my yang energy. If I cycle the Vajra breathing technique again, yeah, time to hit the back mountain, somewhere quiet to train." Scene shift. 5 minutes later, in the forested hills behind Fong Yi's house. Su Qingying reached the summit, panting, finally done with that mess. But just as she caught her breath, a blinding golden light erupted in the distance. What an overwhelming aura. Someone's here, deep in the mountain. Her eyes widened as she spotted a colossal glowing axe forming midair. Wait a sec. Is someone breaking through to Axe Realm? Stage 3. This level of force. This isn't just a prodigy anymore. This is monstrous. No time to hesitate. I have to check it out. Could it really be him? If it is, I have to catch him this time. After successfully breaking through to Axe Realm Stage 3, Fong Yi didn't rest. That very night, he stepped into a high-risk thunder zone, aiming to seize a new power. Electric energy rained from the heavens, crackling violently, all converging onto his body. His movements were lightning fast, so fast that he seemed like a thousand-armed deity, each motion leaving behind a flickering afterimage. As the last surge of energy entered his core, the golden battle axe above his head began to vibrate violently, emitting a deep, resonant hum. Meanwhile, Su Qingying arrived at a nearby peak and looked up at the sky, eyes wide. He's trying to wield the divine axe? He's controlling the lightning flow so precisely. Did this guy secretly cultivate for hundreds of years? She recalled her own failed attempt to reach Axe Realm Stage 3, rejected by the divine axe's pressure. She had vomited blood and spent a week bedridden. That kind of pain she never wanted to remember. Yet this man, standing firm amidst divine thunder, was lifting the axe as if born to do so. Those currents, that mastery. This guy isn't just a prodigy anymore. He's something else, something divine. Most pioneers rush their breakthroughs the moment they feel a hint of progress. But this man remained steady, composed like an old-world recluse, far beyond his years. Suddenly, Su Qingying noticed the divine axe shift its direction toward the east. Meanwhile, a cracking sound echoed from Fong Yi's body as if his very bones were shedding their limits. The system chimed in /congratulations. Host has advanced to Axe Realm Stage 3. Moments later, Su Qingying arrived at the clearing. But to her disbelief, it was empty, not a soul in sight. She stared at the vacant glade and sighed in despair. Missed him again? It's only been 30 seconds. He must have noticed I've been tracking him. At this rate, I'll never be able to recruit him. But then her expression shifted. Something fell off. Raising her voice, she called out, "Senior, I believe you're still nearby, aren't you?" Up in a tree, Fong Yi narrowed his eyes. So it's really her. Been tailing me for days. With no reply, Su Qingying continued, "I'm Su Qingying, squad leader of a pioneer unit under the National Aura Cultivation Association. I'm also a pioneer myself. On behalf of the association, I sincerely invite you to join us. We may not be fully public yet, but we are a legitimate organization. Official documentation, charter, the whole deal." After finishing her speech, Su Qingying nervously wondered, did I come off too strong? What if he thinks I'm harassing him? I need to be more careful with my wording and keep my tone gentle. 5 long minutes of silence passed before a calm voice finally broke it. "Why?" Flustered, Su Qingying stammered, because her mind raced. What should I say? Someone like him won't fall for flattery. If I lie or sugarcoat it, he'll see right through me. Taking a deep breath, she spoke earnestly, because the Xian nation is trying to bring all pioneers together, to build a structure, a system, and most importantly, a future. I understand it might feel like a restriction to someone as powerful as you, but we all have to face the unknown together. Unity gives us a fighting chance." Fong Yi responded flatly. "And what if I say no? I'm not ready to trust any organization just yet." Su Qingying froze, struggling to find a response. After a moment of hesitation, she reached into her jacket and pulled out a small item. "My name is Su Qingying. Before all this, before the spiritual awakening, I was a national athlete. Maybe you've heard of me? Here's my ID. I hope this proves I'm sincere." Su Qingying's sudden move even left Fong Yi a little stunned. After a moment, he realized he did recognize her. Makes sense, he thought. People with better natural talent tend to awaken earlier. No wonder she was so fast on her feet. But in his past life, the Xian nation never managed to fully unite the pioneers. In the end, humanity was wiped out. Now that I've been given a second chance and a system, I do intend to get involved. Just not yet. The timing isn't right. With that in mind, he turned to Su Qingying and said, "Yeah, I do remember you. I'll think about your offer. But for now, I need you to keep my whereabouts off the record." He made the request because from Su Qingying's attitude, it was clear, right now, the association wouldn't dare provoke a high-tier pioneer like him. That was something he could use to his advantage. Without hesitation, Su Qingying nodded. I can cooperate with that. But just so you know, your breakthrough didn't go unnoticed. The association has already picked up on the anomaly. I have to report it, but I can bend the truth a little. Half fact, half fiction. Deal. Before she could even finish her sentence and turn around, Fong Yi had already vanished, leaving her alone under the vast mountain sky. On her way back, Su Qingying sighed into her communicator. I didn't catch him again. He's clearly dodging me on purpose. I've been running around cleaning up the aftermath of some powerhouse's breakthrough. Ugh, my life is suffering. The voice on the other end tried to console her. All right, don't beat yourself up. Honestly, it might be a good thing you're still out in the field. Did you hear? Something strange has started happening again. Her footsteps halted as her expression turned grim. They're back? Those twisted, monstrous things. I could never forget them. Nightmarish figures resurfaced in her mind, some cold and sinister, others mindlessly bloodthirsty. Ever since the awakening of spiritual energy, these beings had begun to mutate within polluted zones, some becoming terrifying beasts or aberrations that devoured humans, others disguising themselves as natural disasters, spreading chaos, carving out territory, and spawning new areas of corruption. Su Qingying knew all too well. If these creatures weren't stopped in time, they would unleash their catastrophic powers and steadily consume the human world. The scene shifted to a rain-drenched city at night. Sheets of rain battered the streets. On the news, the anchor reported, a red alert has been issued for thunderstorms and heavy rainfall. Citizens are advised to stay indoors unless absolutely necessary. Friendly reminder, the Yuhuang Peak Scenic Area is now closed due to the high risk of flooding. Please do not attempt to enter under any circumstances. Meanwhile, the internet was in an uproar. Netizens flooded the forums with comments like, haven't seen a storm this crazy in decades. Who the hell is transcending in the middle of the city? At that very moment, Fong Yi was walking calmly through the downpour. He gazed into the distance, eyes fixed on the mountain shrouded in ominous storm clouds. What a rich concentration of lightning energy. Dominant, regal. Just the kind of power I need, he murmured. And the epicenter's right over there. With a swift leap, he vaulted over the wall. Instantly, his system chimed in. Warning, polluted domain detected. Mount Yuhuang. Mount Yuhuang stands 1,545 meters tall, spanning 25,000 hectares. It is one of the city's most prominent scenic areas. Current contamination level, unknown. But before the system could finish its report, a bolt of lightning suddenly crashed down toward Fong Yi. His eyes gleamed. There it is. Meanwhile, in a high-level city conference room, a government official watched the surging spirit energy graph on a large screen. The risk level at Mount Yuhuang is spiking uncontrollably. The peak must be sealed off immediately. We're designating it as a new polluted zone. He glanced around the room, then nodded toward the door. This incident is both urgent and unprecedented. I've already recalled Qingying from her previous mission. Qingying, bring us up to speed. Standing to speak, Su Qingying reported, the summit of Mount Yuhuang is currently inaccessible. The lightning-type spiritual energy is rising explosively. We've given the area an initial A-class contamination rating, but at this rate, it could reach S-class within the hour. We must activate emergency protocols immediately. Her expression grew heavier. According to all available records, no Pathfinder in our region has the ability to approach the zone. Not even myself. Even for a Tier 3 Ghost Axe Pathfinder, the simulated survival rate is 0. The man known as Hat Bro nodded decisively. Seal off Mount Yuhuang from the base. Post armed patrols 24 hours a day. No one goes up that mountain. The rest of the council echoed the order. Agreed. Cut off the danger at its source. Total lockdown. The spirit energy is still surging. Absolutely no entry allowed until it stabilizes. Recon comes later. Meanwhile, Fong Yi stood amid the roaring thunder, lightning raining down on him in relentless strikes. Gritting his teeth, he thought, thank the heavens I have the golden sun breathing technique. But that alone isn't enough. to harness the purest lightning energy. I need to reach the heart of the storm, Mount Yuhuang's peak. His gaze sharpened, thoughts turning grim. With spiritual revival, humanity didn't rise to dominance. Instead, we begun to fall to the bottom of the food chain. Even rabbits and rats now pose a threat, and far worse creatures will follow. Beasts of horror, monsters beyond imagination. Even powerful cultivators might not survive their wrath. Fong, he clenched his fists. I've already mastered the golden sun breathing technique and the crimson fire blade art, representing yang, energy, and inner flame. But that's still not enough. I burned through a ton of script points to embed both properties into my Tang blade. Yang energy boosts durability and defense, while crimson flame enhances destructive power. But if I rely too much on my weapon, I'll eventually be exposed. I need to strengthen myself, or I'll never have the edge against those cunning, brutal foes. He looked up at the storm-ridden summit. This lightning, it's the perfect catalyst to temper my body. In a world ruled by chaos, you either seize power from the storm, or die waiting for disaster to come. With that thought, his hand gripped the hilt. A heartbeat later, he slashed toward the lightning. Damn, the resistance is insane, he growled through gritted teeth. But retreat? Never. With a surge of will, he unleashed his full strength. The blade tore through the lightning with a thunderous crack, shattering the arc like brittle glass. Yet the backlash was brutal. Fong, he spat out a mouthful of blood. This wasn't just lightning. It was divine retribution incarnate. It pressed down on him like judgment itself, furious that he dared trespass upon its sacred ground. It wanted him to kneel, but he asked himself, how do I make this power mine? Forcing himself calm, he recalled the system's earlier guidance. To master elemental energy, you must first make contact with its source. Suddenly, his eyes shot open. I've got it. With that, Fong activated the golden sun breathing technique at full power. He realized he had to push his body to the limit, endure the agony, and reach the eye of the storm. Only by walking the edge of death could he be reborn stronger. Gazing toward the thundercloud's core, Fong muttered, such overwhelming power. Even breathing is enough to make my muscles go numb. This storm wants me dead, but Fong never backs down. A colossal lightning pillar suddenly shot skyward, tearing open the heavens like a blade of divine fury. Just then, the system chimed in, massive lightning attribute detected, commencing skill compilation. Meanwhile, down in the city, people stared at their windows in disbelief. I've never seen lightning like this in my life. Is some higher being transcending into godhood? I swear I saw someone up there. Is that lightning going to hit our buildings? Moments later, countless bolts of lightning erupted from a golden energy sphere, streaking across the sky like divine judgment. System update. You have obtained / divine thunder tempering, called down heavenly lightning to forge your body, ascend through flesh to godhood. Plus 50 script points awarded. Feeling the surge of energy within his body, Fong, he could hardly contain his excitement. The lightning element, an elite attribute focused entirely on offense. Unlike the sun element, lightning doesn't just burn, it tempers the body itself, forging strength through shock. It's ruthless, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. Ancient legends echoed in his mind. It said that cultivators of old drew thunder into their bodies through sacred oaths. With time, they became as unshakable as mountains, invincible and immortal. Clenching his fist, Fong, he whispered, thunder is not just a weapon of destruction. It's a force of renewal. I can feel it refining my muscles, bones, and meridians, and there's no pain at all. It's like being reborn. Then, the system's prompt appeared. You have obtained pure judgment lightning, a divine energy that annihilates all evil. Grants plus 300% critical damage against corrupted entities. Use script points to implant this trait. Fong, he hesitated. If I fuse it with the Tang blade, the weapon's durability will improve, but it might dilute the sun attribute's purity. Besides, overloading the blade with too many attributes might destabilize it. A spark of inspiration flashed in his eyes. He pressed his right arm. Why not fuse it with myself instead? The system responded, confirm lightning attribute infusion. Target. Right arm? Upon confirmation, arcs of lightning surged into Fong Yi's arm, fusing seamlessly with his flesh and bone. The next morning atop Mount Yuhuang, Su Qingying stood at the summit, reporting, Major Han, the situation has taken an unexpected turn. Within just 3 hours, the spiritual density dropped from peak levels to mild contamination. However, traces of high-voltage static energy remain in the air. At that moment, Major Hanley knelt on one knee, pressing his hand against the damp soil. Someone's been here. A pathfinder. Su Qingying gasped, what? Another pathfinder? Then, is he still alive? She quickly mimicked the motion, palm to ground, trying to sense any residual aura. I can't detect his element or when he left. Maybe the rain last night washed everything away. But Hanley calmly responded with a precise judgment. He left around 8 p.m. last night, unharmed. Seeing Su Qingying's puzzled face, he elaborated. The anomaly began at 6 p.m. By 7, we had already sealed the mountain base. He must have climbed up before that, or we would have caught him. Besides, Han continued, our instruments predicted the pollution level would hit S-class before midnight, especially around 7 p.m. when the lightning peaked. But right after 8, the energy surge began to subside. Standing up, his gaze sharpened. I also sensed lingering, lightning elemental energy. That means this person not only withstood the storm, but likely used it to power through a breakthrough. For him, the chaos was a golden opportunity. Han's thoughts turned cold. But was it truly luck? Or did he purposefully tap into the celestial upheaval? He moved faster than we did. Turning to Su Qingying, his voice dropped into a grim tone. People like him are the most dangerous. We have no idea what side he's on. If he turns rogue, the damage could rival a natural disaster. We need to find him fast. Meanwhile, back at home, Fong Yi randomly sneezed and rubbed his nose, oblivious to the storm he had stirred. Hanley had already turned to his men, issuing orders. No matter the cost, identify and locate this individual. Operation codename Tyrant. Hanley stated that he hoped the association could recruit the Tyrant as soon as possible. On their side, they would seal off the news and start the investigation immediately. Hearing this, the association's representative quickly replied, of course, but we also have a high-level pioneer trying to make contact. Xiao Su, report to Major Han. The sudden request caught Su Qingying completely off guard. Forcing herself to stay calm, she said, yes, earlier, at the 11 contamination zone, outside the north gate of Qingxing University. The one who purified the anomaly was that pioneer. Inside, she was panicking. Crap, don't let them see through me. After steadying her nerves, she continued, I've been trying to get close to him, but his movements are extremely elusive. I once found the corpse of a mutant hare he killed. If I'm not mistaken, his attribute should be solar flame. I'll do my best to approach him and uncover how he purified the north gate of Qingxing University. Deep down, Su Qingying sighed, Ancestor, I've really done my best. Mixing truth with lies is the only way to make them believe me. Say nothing at all, and I'll definitely crash and burn. Major Han thought for a moment before saying, Solar flame. Huh? Understood. Xiao Su, well done. We need promising youngsters like you to rise and surpass the old guard. Relieved at having bluffed her way through, Su Qingying quickly saluted. Major Han flatters me. This is my duty. I will continue to give it my all. Hanley then turned to the association members and added, we'll also release a few natural disaster smokescreens. And another thing, I strongly disagree with posting information about spiritual energy online. Such news will only be exploited by those with ill intent. The scene shifted, and Fong, he was already back home. He aimed the golden sun breathing technique at his jacket. In the next instant, the fabric dried completely. Slipping it on, Fong Yi thought to himself. After infusing it with lightning, the change is obvious. His right hand now felt like it had undergone a lightning-forged transformation, becoming the toughest part of his entire body. It seemed as though he was brushing against another breakthrough. What shocked him even more was that the once dominant lightning attribute, after merging with him, had turned obedient like a tamed kitten, flowing smoothly under his control. He remembered the agony of unlocking the solar attribute the first time he used the golden sun breathing technique. Pain too unbearable to recall. Yet, after absorption, that torment had truly lessened. Fang Yi recalled the system's prompt. This attribute dealt 300% critical damage against abominations and evil spirits. He was already eager to test it out. Just then, his phone on the table suddenly rang. Seeing this, Fang Yi's heart sank. What now? After the last incident, he had set all news and forum alerts as priority notifications. In these times of great upheaval, the Xia Nation would always issue danger alerts immediately, doing everything possible to protect ordinary citizens. Yet within those alerts lay hidden opportunities, an irresistible lure for pioneers like Fang Yi. Even if it meant the risk of perishing, he would still take the gamble. The moment he opened the message, Fang Yi's eyes sharpened. Chemical plant explosion. No casualties reported. The blast has caused urban contamination, and the cause is under investigation. The incident occurred during shift change, resulting in no injuries. Citizens are advised to remain calm and prioritize personal safety. Reading the words explosion and contamination, Fang Yi immediately thought an event of this scale couldn't be as simple as it seemed. The live chat was already flooded with comments. My house is nearby. Not gonna lie, the feeling was really strange. I can't even describe it. Was it a cold, sinister aura? Replying to the post above, yes, exactly. Cold and sinister. That's the perfect way to put it. Seeing the phrase cold, sinister aura, Fang Yi frowned. It felt disturbingly familiar. Then it struck him. The same evil terror from his previous life. Back then, he had hidden in the corner, too terrified to even move. Could this explosion be connected to them? Those creatures that always emerged from the shadows and thrived in the darkness? These creatures might once have been ordinary plants or animals, but after mutation, they gained intelligence and frenzied strength. Their senses, hunting skills, and killing ability all became twisted and terrifying. This was 100 times more dangerous than the mutant hair before. Tonight, he had to move out and stop them from evolving further. It was the perfect chance to test his 300% critical strike in real combat. The scene shifted. The city was drenched in heavy rain. As the light turned green, several figures suddenly flashed across the street with a sharp whoosh. The squad leader's voice came through. Reporting to HQ, the Annihilator Squad is pursuing Archive Number 7 anomaly, Night Candle. We've temporarily lost visual on the target. Known abilities, merges with the night, conceals its form, produces faint E sounds when approaching, and is man-eating. Requesting immediate archive updates. With this weather, it's bound to start feeding soon. We cannot allow that to happen. HQ quickly responded, acknowledged. Supplementary data on Archive Number 7, Night Candle, has been uploaded. Extermination operation approved at Priority B level. Resolution expected within 12 hours. Annihilator Squad continue pursuit, but above all, prioritize survival. Upon receiving the order, the Annihilator Squad immediately replied, no problem. They knew full well that 12 hours wasn't exactly fast, but it was already the maximum support HQ could provide. With Xia Nation's vast territory and outbreaks everywhere, the central command was stretched thin. Just then, HQ called back again. Wait. In the area you're approaching, we have operatives from the Spiritual Cultivation Association. Squad leader Su Qingying is currently on pioneer observation duty. We can send word for her to assist you temporarily. Hearing this, the squad leader quickly responded, understood. Much appreciated. Please have her come over as soon as possible. I've heard of her record. But the very next second, a voice suddenly rang out. Since when did I get so famous? Don't tell me this is just another overtime call. As Su Qingying appeared, the squad leader hastily explained, this mission isn't about overtime. Our target this time is Night Candle, a man-eating anomaly. Su Qingying, however, turned on her heel to leave. That's your attitude when asking for help? Seems the Annihilator Squad is so strong it doesn't need outside assistance. Linging Squad won't bother then. One of her subordinates teased, "Boss, that's ruthless. What if they really get eaten?" Another snorted, "Then that's their problem. Like our missions aren't deadly enough." Seeing their sharp words and that she really meant to leave, the squad leader hurriedly called out, "Please wait. Sorry for my tone just now. Please help us search for its whereabouts. You know how dangerous Night Candle is. Without your tracking and locating abilities, if we get eaten, so be it, but the people in the city will all be doomed." Hearing this, Su Qingying turned back and said, "All right, no more jokes. I never meant I wouldn't help you. This creature is cunning by nature, only active in the dark and hidden from sight. That's why it's so hard to catch. But once it devours a human, it becomes unstoppable, revolting beyond words. We'll do everything we can to help you capture Night Candle." Meanwhile, Fong Yi stood in the rain, inhaling the scent carried through the air. Gazing into the distance, he muttered, "I smell it. The stench is unusually strong. Has this thing already grown that powerful?" At that moment, Su Qingying's squad and the Annihilator Squad arrived at the scene. Su Qingying raised her palm, and a beam of blue light shot forward. She declared there, "I've found it." HQ transmitted an update. Archive number 7, Night Candle. Prefers dark, damp environments and preys on humans. The squad leader acknowledged, understood. Then he gave the order, "Annihilator Squad, commence operation." At the same time, Night Candle had already sensed their presence. Seeing it turn to flee, the squad leader shouted, "Target has spotted us. Annihilator Squad, formation now." In the next instant, a figure blocked its path, calling out, "East, positioned." Almost immediately, voices echoed one after another. "North in position. West in position. South in position." The target was now fully surrounded, awaiting the squad leader's command. Then, from above, a silhouette came hurtling down toward Night Candle. In the blink of an eye, a brutal hand strike slashed across its waist. But the blow failed to deliver a fatal wound. With a single step back, 2 sharp spikes suddenly erupted from its body. Accompanied by a furious roar, a pair of black wings tore their way out of Night Candle's flesh. Seeing this, Su Qing shouted urgently, "Watch out for its sonic wave. Dodge now." No sooner had the words left her mouth than several squad members were blasted away. Even the Annihilator Squad's captain was injured, forced to leap onto a rooftop to recover. Inwardly, he cursed, "Night Candle truly is powerful. If we hadn't pulled back in time, our bones would already be shattered." With this level of destructive power, combined with its terrifying dark attribute, letting it linger in the city would spell absolute disaster. But before he could think further, Night Candle's mouth suddenly swelled. The next second, it spewed a cloud of black smoke onto the ground. In the blink of an eye, the pavement corroded into a gaping hole. Su Qingying cried out, "It's trying to burrow underground." She rushed forward to stop it, but was held back by a teammate. "Captain Su, that's dark attribute with corrosive properties. The instant it makes contact, it eats through any structure. Without a superior counter attribute, we can't resist it head-on. Even if it corrodes the ground, it won't create an escape tunnel instantly. Don't disrupt the Annihilator Squad's formation. Our main role is gathering intel and adjusting strategy." The Annihilator Squad members, faced with such a venomous creature, couldn't help but feel a surge of fear. Just then, a pair of blood-red eyes suddenly gleamed in the dark. In the next instant, the monster charged straight forward, crashing through the spot where one of the squad members stood. "Don't let it escape." After it, the others shouted in alarm. Immediately, several members of the squad gave chase in the direction Night Candle had fled. From above, Su Qingying suddenly called out, "Wait." The concentration of abnormal spirit energy just spiked. "You stay outside, I'll follow them in." Soon, they tracked it into an abandoned factory. Upon entering, Su Qingying said, "Let me check the spirit energy levels first." When the squad leader saw the device in her hand, he was taken aback. "That's the new auxiliary equipment developed by the association, isn't it?" Su Qingying nodded. Correct. The watch shows that the maximum abnormal spirit concentration a squad can normally handle is 50. Just now, Night Candle measured at 48. But the very next second, she cried out, "Wait, it's spiking past 80 and still climbing. That means there's more than one anomaly here." Even as she spoke, a pair of scarlet eyes had already appeared behind them, staring unblinkingly at the group. Before they could even react, one of the squad members vanished into thin air. Su Qingying cried out in alarm. "Not good. There really is another anomaly. Night Candle lured us in on purpose. Retreat. We can't stay here. Head for the main gate. If it tries to stop us, we'll force our way through. With all of us together, we can break it open." But in that instant, Su Qingying suddenly froze in place, her body refusing to move. A moment later, she collapsed to the ground with a heavy thud. Her vision went completely dark. She couldn't see a thing. But soon she realized it wasn't just blindness. Her five senses and her body itself were being invaded by poison gas. Her heart tightened as she shouted, "Are you all okay?" But there was no reply. The silence was suffocating. It felt as though she was the only one left inside the abandoned factory. She knew her comrades were still nearby, yet she couldn't sense them, and they couldn't answer her. Racing through her thoughts, she recalled, Night Candle drew them in here, but this wasn't its lair. It was another anomaly's territory. She caught a faint trace of presence. This thing, it was likely a giant serpent. Unlike Night Candle's dark attribute, this black fog carried venom. From the very moment they stepped inside, they had already been poisoned. The toxins dulled their senses and rapidly drained their spirit energy. If they used spirit energy attacks, the depletion would only accelerate until nothing remained. Without spirit energy to protect her body, she would soon be nothing but a corpse. What kind of anomaly is this? Not only does it possess combat intelligence, but its ability is utterly overwhelming, playing us like prey in its own domain. Is my life really going to end here? But just as Su Qingying sank into despair, the roof above them suddenly split open. In the next second, a figure shattered through the building and descended from the sky. By now, Su Qingying's eyes slowly drifted shut, powerless to resist. The figure who descended from the sky was none other than Fong Yi. Landing firmly, he glanced around and said coolly, "So, it's a dark attribute anomaly?" The next instant, the massive serpent lunged at him with its gaping jaws. Fong Yi leapt aside, only for Night Candle to immediately pounce at him. Seeing this, Fong Yi sneered, "I see now two anomalies. One lures, the other harvests. Clever enough. No wonder the spirit energy here is so abnormally dense." As Night Candle sank its fangs into his arm, Fong Yi chuckled. "So you like biting that much? Then savor the taste of lightning." With that, a violent surge of electricity erupted, obliterating Night Candle in an instant. Without pause, he swung his blade, unleashing a slash of golden flame that roared toward the serpent. Wielding the blazing warblade, Fong Yi stood like a war god, his voice cold. "Your turn. Are you afraid of fire?" The dark serpent roared and lunged at Fong Yi once again. In that moment, Fong Yi leapt high, narrowly dodging the serpent's strike. Gripping his blade tight, he roared, "Beast, take this!" In the next instant, a blazing sword strike infused with lightning came crashing down. With a single slash, the dark serpent was cleaved in two. Yet as Fong Yi landed, he suddenly froze. To his shock, the serpent's bisected body began to regenerate. Fong Yi narrowed his eyes, thinking, so it still has a trump card. Just then, sparks of electricity crackled violently from its wounds. The next moment, arcs of lightning surged through its entire body, wrenching agonized roars from the beast. Witnessing this, Fong Yi allowed himself a faint smile. Good thing I sensed it early. The serpent's dark aura was even heavier than Night Candle's. Earlier, when Fong Yi swung his tang blade infused with solar flame, he instantly pulled the power back under control, letting the blade itself act as the vessel. There, he condensed the lightning in his hand and forced it straight into the serpent's body. He thought to himself, Night Candle may be sinister and sly, but its strength is limited. At most, it threatens a handful of humans, one or two victims at most, never fully evolved. But this serpent, it's something else entirely. Just then, a sharp pain shot through Fong Yi's shoulder. Looking down, he found a serpent scale embedded in his flesh. Fong Yi immediately burned it away with solar flame, sneering. As expected of such a cunning mutant, its intelligence is growing too. Its venom carries a built-in paralysis effect, killing silently without warning. He muttered with relief. Luckily, I can still feel the sting. That's thanks to the golden sun breathing, circulating non-stop inside me. The solar flame dissolves toxins, the golden sun breathing heals and shields my body, and lightning purifies what remains. Together, they trigger a sharp pain whenever poison invades, acting as a warning, alerting me to enemy strikes. But anyone else, even with some defensive ability, would be doomed. With no antidote, they'd have no chance. His gaze hardened. No wonder this serpent grew so massive in silence. At the very least, its ghost-forged rank 3, and its ambush predator style explains the rest. Paired with Night Candle, they make the perfect trap for elite pioneers. The number of people it has devoured must already be terrifying. Many pioneers who never regrouped with the authorities were likely killed by it. Fong Yi exhaled slowly, eyes sharp as blades. But no matter how vicious, no matter how cunning, it will still be reduced to ashes. The solar flame was pure and refined, but it was still the triple critical lightning that shone brightest. Fong Yi thought to himself that his combat level now placed him solidly among the better pioneers. Just then, his expression sharpened as he gazed thoughtfully ahead. Slowly, he stepped forward into the flames. As his hand reached out to touch the fire, he suddenly discovered there was someone inside. Slumped weakly against the wall was Su Qingying. Approaching closer, Fong Yi recognized her instantly. Well, isn't this the association's Su Qingying? He smirked and said aloud, "Hey, drop the act. Your playing dead skills aren't exactly convincing." Flustered, Su Qingying covered her flushed face and blurted, "I wasn't faking. The stench woke me up." Yet inside, her heart screamed, "Oh no, it really is him. Of all people to run into here." Fong Yi looked at Su Qingying and said calmly, "You're strong. Your teammates have all drained their spirit energy and lost consciousness. Yet you still managed to keep a trace of protection. Without a firm will, you wouldn't even be able to smell the blood and the burning." Hearing this, Su Qingying thought to herself, "It's true, I did keep a sliver of spirit energy to shield myself." And he noticed. But I have no idea how he managed to defeat Night Candle or that serpent. Seeing her remain silent, Fong Yi continued, "You don't need to keep covering your eyes. As long as you keep your word and don't reveal my identity, that's enough. It's late. Since neither you nor your comrades are in mortal danger, I'll be leaving." Su Qingying opened her mouth, wanting to say thank you. But Fong Yi was already walking away, leaving only, "No need. Too many mouths here. It's better you handle things." As he departed, Fong Yi felt a surge of relief. Good thing she didn't see. When I tried touching and absorbing the dark attribute, just now, the chill and discomfort were nauseating. Maybe it was because I had already dispelled the dark energy and my body instinctively rejected it, that it failed. The system didn't respond either. Forget it. I'll review everything once I'm home. Meanwhile, Su Qingying gazed at the direction Fong Yi had left, sighing inwardly. What a shame. I didn't even see his face. Looks like he still hasn't lowered his guard against the association. She then walked over to the Annihilator Squad's captain, gave him a light pat, and said softly, "Wake up. It's over." The man slowly opened his eyes. Su Qingying told him, "We were ambushed." But when he looked up and saw the monster's corpse, everyone froze in shock. What is this? Where did such pure solar attribute come from? With a complicated expression, Su Qingying explained, "As you can see, a pioneer stepped in to save us. He should be the target of my mission. My assignment was to track and identify a pioneer with an extreme high-level attribute, the solar attribute. But I've never been able to confirm it. His identity is still a mystery. In truth, he even counter-detected me. He knew exactly what I was doing. And yet, this time, he protected me. Her words left the squad utterly stunned. He took down both Night Candle and that serpent alone? There's someone that powerful. The captain steadied himself and said, "Enough. Let's process the scene first and submit the remaining materials to the association." But as he stepped on a chunk of flesh, a sudden crackle of electricity hissed to life. His eyes widened in alarm. Such violent energy. Captain Sue, you said he was solar attribute? But this residual electrical charge, it's way too strong. Walking closer, Su Qingying recognized the remains of Night Candle. The lightning attribute lingering on, it was frighteningly pure, undeniably high level. Staring at the crackling currents on the ground, the Annihilator squad captain muttered in confusion. Could it be two high-tier pioneers appeared here? One killed the serpent, the other slew Night Candle, and then they left together. But Su Qingying knew with absolute certainty that wasn't the case. How could I explain this? Only he was here, but no one would believe it. One person carrying two extreme high-level attributes at the same time, just having one would already make someone a peerless genius. But a dual high-attribute pioneer, that's unheard of. Solar Flame Wielder and Thunder Tyrant. What kind of monster is he, really? She sighed inwardly. Good thing I stationed members outside the factory. If I stayed inside too long, they'd immediately report back to the association. As expected, the association dispatched interrogation staff to the scene, originally intending to collect their corpses. Right then, two squad members rushed over, clinging to their captain's leg and bawling, "Boss, you're alive. We thought we'd lost you for good." But Su Qingying knew their real priority now, scanning for residual energy, analyzing the traces, and reconstructing the battle. And finally, reporting the outcome of the incident back to the association. Moments later, an association investigator spoke up. "Captains, based on the analysis of residual traces here, both the attack patterns and the kill methods, there's a 99% probability that the same individual slew both anomalies." Hearing this, the Annihilator Squad's captain was stunned to his core. So it really was a dual high-attribute pioneer? I thought we might have been mistaken, but thinking about it, either one of those anomalies alone could have buried us here. Another squad member, equally shocked, muttered, "Exactly. That powerhouse wiped them out in a single move. We're all at the Ghost Forge stage, but the gap is insane." At this point, Su Qingying stepped forward. "The data on my monitored subject has updated. I need to report this to higher-ups." Moments later, she relayed the situation. "According to my monitoring, both the Tyrant and the Qingshan University Northgate incident point to the same person, my assigned subject." HQ replied, "Understood. Xiao Su, your mission is suspended for now. This individual saved you, eliminated the anomalies, and secured the area. That proves he doesn't resent the association and isn't our enemy. My view differs from Old Han's. For your safety, and to ensure the association leave a good impression on the Tyrant, you are not to approach him for the time being." Su Qingying acknowledged, received, but then added, "I do have another suspicion about the time in the back mountain, right before the Tyrant's ascension. In the area he operated, I sensed an extraordinarily powerful aura. Back then, I suspected he might have a spirit weapon, but dismissed it as unlikely. Now that it's confirmed he's a dual high-attribute pioneer, the probability is much higher." At the mention of him possibly wielding a spirit armament, the leader at HQ narrowed his eyes sharply. He then said, "That's unlikely. No matter how gifted he is, it's impossible to possess a spirit armament without outside support or resources. Besides, our investigators found no traces of a third spirit armament attribute at the scene." But Su Qingying countered, "That's not right. When I came into contact with him, I clearly sensed the energy of a spirit armament, and it was solar attribute." Hearing this, the HQ leader muttered, "So that's it." He went on, "If the armament's attribute comes from his own solar attribute, then if he has already reached the creation realm sovereign level, it's theoretically possible to forge one using only his own power." At the words creation realm, Su Qingying froze. After all, Across the entire world, sovereigns of that level could be counted on less than 2 fingers. The voice on the other end continued. If this individual truly possesses a third attribute of spirit energy, it would rewrite the current balance of power and shake the entire pioneer community. Research has shown that different attributes of spirit energy are mutually repulsive, almost impossible to coexist in one body. To date, no pioneer has ever wielded 3 attributes at once. If he truly has a spirit armament, then the fact we haven't detected a third attribute might not be a bad thing. Let's just hope that someone with such overwhelming power never becomes humanity's enemy. Meanwhile, Fong Yi stepped out of the shower, water still dripping from his hair. Inwardly, he calculated. Less than a year remained before the full revival of spiritual energy. Yet already, heaven and earth had begun to twist, anomalies stirring violently and strange phenomena erupting everywhere. Many pioneers, like himself, had taken to cultivation on their own. By opening the body's interface with the spiritual world, they could sense the world's shifts far more keenly than ordinary people. Just like those people he had encountered in the underground river. Not officially recognized by Xia Nation, yet through self-cultivation, most had already reached Ghost Mansion realm, 1 star. Now, Xia Nation extending goodwill to wild pioneers like him meant both the authorities and the independents were in a relatively stable stage of exploration. The anomalies remained within the state's control for the moment, and pioneers were not yet in serious conflict with one another. And yet, although the government had already established a spiritual cultivation association, it remained hidden from the public eye. Everywhere, people openly discussed their sense of danger and uncertainty. From this, it was clear the authorities were trying to both protect humanity and discreetly warn of the looming crisis. But herein lay the problem. Fong Yi could feel it. The authorities had no confidence in launching a fully open cultivation era. With such a vast population, making it public would first collapse order. Internal unrest would spark mass chaos and death. At present, even the recognized pioneers lacked the strength to stabilize the turmoil. Caught between internal and external threats, society would crumble even faster. Thus, the government had chosen this gradual, cautious approach, and it wasn't wrong. After all, human hearts could be more terrifying than ghosts or gods. But what worried Fong Yi was that anomalies were developing faster than he had anticipated. What he had faced today was a textbook case of a mutated field corrupted by dark attribute. From a moment he touched the black mist, he realized it belonged to a sub-branch, shadow attribute, the natural nemesis of pioneers. Worse still, these anomalies were far more intelligent than ordinary beasts. Not only did they crave human flesh, but pioneers' bodies were treated as supreme nourishment. Sometimes, they even allied with each other, setting traps specifically to hunt pioneers. These anomalies weren't as terrifying as the dark attribute beings he had once witnessed. Creatures capable of wiping out an entire nation, even a continent, with just one force. But without his pursuit today, that squad, and the people who wanted to recruit him, would have been finished. For a mere sub-attribute to be this vile and chilling only proved how great a threat the dark attribute truly was. Still, since he couldn't absorb it for now, did that mean once the system's conditions were met, he would be able to? If the dark attribute, humanity's natural nemesis, could be turned into his strength, it would be invaluable, perhaps even the key to reversing the entire situation. As of now, he commanded the golden sun breathing of the solar attribute, the hundredfold divine thunder of the lightning attribute, and the crimson flame blade technique, a sub-attribute of solar flame. It wasn't just that he wielded high-tier attributes. The most important part was that he had cultivation methods perfectly tailored to him. Coupled with his ghost-forged 3-star strength, there were few pioneers who could stand against him. Yet Fong Yi knew well, this still wasn't enough. Just then, the phone on his desk suddenly rang. Seeing his aunt's name on the screen, Fong Yi frowned. Why so sudden? Answering the call, he heard her voice. Xiaoi, how have you been lately? Your cousin is about to study in your city. I don't feel safe letting her stay in a hotel alone. Could she stay with you for a few days? The mention of his cousin stirred vague memories in Fong Yi's mind. He only remembered one thing clearly. She was a straight-A bookworm. As for her appearance, he could hardly recall it all. With that thought, Fong Yi said, "Auntie, just let her come over then. I've got a spare room at home. When will she arrive?" Hearing this, his aunt quickly waved him off. "No need. No need. I'll give her your address. She can head there herself, and she'll bring some local specialties for you too." Meanwhile, Fong Yi's cousin was at her computer, typing a reply. On her screen was a group chat titled, "Spiritual Revival Martial Pioneer, Squad 7. She clicked it open, messages instantly filling the screen. That internet-famous town got renamed the Town of Death, 3 down already. Any pigs for the slaughter want to try? Staring at it, she muttered softly, "Yanghua Town." Just then, her aunt suddenly pushed open the door. "Have you finished packing?" The cousin frowned. "I really don't want to trouble my cousin. A hotel's fine." But her aunt insisted, "No way. It's safer at your cousin's place. And listen, don't cause him trouble. Help out where you can, understand?" Unable to win the argument, the cousin pushed her gently. All right, I got it." After closing the door, she sighed inwardly. "One step at a time, I guess. No matter what, dealing with my cousin can't possibly be harder than facing anomalies." Before long, Lin Yi arrived at Fong Yi's residence, guided by the navigation. Looking up at the building, she thought this should be the place. When Fong Yi stepped outside, the girl called out tentatively, "Cousin." Fong Yi blinked in confusion. "You're Lin Yi," but staring at her now, he realized he couldn't recognize his cousin at all. After a brief exchange, Fong Yi said, "So you're here for the summer program? If you need anything, just let me know. Here's a spare key. Your room is right across from mine. I'll head back to my room first." With that, he handed her the key. Lin Yi accepted it and replied softly, "Okay, sorry to trouble you these next few days." Watching him leave, she thought with relief, "Looks like my cousin's easygoing. He won't pry into my business." But at that same moment, Fong Yi was secretly unsettled. Was my perception mistaken, or is she deliberately concealing it? When she sat on the sofa just now, I clearly sensed a faint, unfamiliar spiritual aura. Could it be she's already a pioneer too? If so, this whole summer program excuse, does she actually have another reason for being here? Soon after, Lin Yi sent a message in the group. "My cousin's fine. Seems like he won't interfere with what I'm doing. When do we act?" Someone replied, "No rush. Keep it low-key. Things are chaotic here. Lots of polluted zones, but pioneers are quick to stake their claims." Reading the chat, Lin Yi thought, "Forget it. I just got here. Better not start cultivating yet. If my cousin notices, I'll have no way to explain." 3 days passed in a flash. To Fong Yi's surprise, living with his cousin had made his cultivation much more troublesome. His meditation could be interrupted at any moment, and practicing the golden sun breathing risked being seen. The glow won't be that obvious, right? Why didn't I realize how flashy this technique was before? But the most troublesome part wasn't that. Just then, Lin Yi carried in dinner, calling out, "Cousin, the food's ready. Tonight we got tomato milk, cucumber salad, and corn rib soup." This cousin of his was overly courteous, flawless in manners, and handled chores with the precision of someone with near-obsessive cleanliness. Fong Yi didn't stop her. In fact, letting her act this way helped lower her guard. Only then could he gradually probe her true nature. But at that moment, Lin Yi's phone suddenly rang. Fong Yi glanced over and said casually, "What is it? A friend calling? Go ahead and talk. I'll head back to my room." Once Fong Yi had really left, Lin Yi finally dared to answer the call. "What? The heavenly change is happening again tomorrow? You're sure? Afternoon? 3 o'clock? All right, I'll be there. At the entrance of Yanghua Town. Don't be late." At that moment, Fong Yi had already overheard Lin Yi's words from outside the window. "Yanghua Town? Isn't that just some influencer hotspot on the outskirts? By car, it's only an hour away. So, my cousin really is a pioneer of the spiritual revival. Fortunately, with her current strength, she shouldn't be able to detect me. Still, she was only a high schooler, yet already a ghost-forged 2-star and even showing signs of advancing further. Such talent likely explained her peculiar personality, which meant this whole summer program was just a cover. Her real purpose here was the heavenly change. She must have caught wind of it beforehand and used the camp as an excuse. Every heavenly change was both peril and opportunity. For Fong Yi, it always meant gaining new techniques to boost his power. I wonder what attribute will emerge in Yanghua Town this time. Doesn't matter, whatever it is, it's mine. Meanwhile, as Lin Yi cultivated in her room, she suddenly felt uneasy. Glancing toward the window, she muttered, "Was that my imagination? Just now, it felt like someone was watching me." The scene shifted inside Yanghua Town. In the group chat, the user nicknamed Online Romance Girl teased Lin Yi. "Hey, aren't you staying at your cousin's place these days? So, tell us, is he handsome or not?" Lin Yi thought for a moment before replying. "He's a good person. As for looks, just plain and ordinary. Definitely not the internet celebrity type you like." Hearing that, Online Romance Girl looked a little disappointed. Then the married woman chuckled and said, "Don't forget, E always described herself as just another face in the crowd too." Moments later, the squad captain raised his voice. "All right, now that everyone's here, let's get down to business." Lin Yi quickly asked, "So, that one, she still isn't coming?" But the captain shook his head. "Correct. It's just a 6 again. She won't be joining." The married woman leaned closer to Lin Yi and added softly, "She's always been this mysterious. We're used to it. Let's move." Meanwhile, Fong Yi was watching the group from the second floor. He mused, "So my cousin's squad keeps a low profile, but even the weakest of them are stable at Ghost Forge 2-star. That man who spoke earlier is already Ghost Forged 3-star. And judging from their words, there's still another powerhouse in the team who rarely shows up." Just then, atop the hills of the influencer town, a massive vine suddenly descended from the sky, like the beanstalk from the tail Jack and the Beanstalk. The vine appeared randomly in the areas around Yanghua Town, its timing unpredictable. This ran completely counter to the intel pioneers had gathered before, defying all understanding. It was clearly part of the heavenly change, yet unrelated to weather or tectonic upheaval. Instead, it was an anomaly conjured from nothing, causing no destruction, no thunderous roar, no blazing spectacle. It simply drifted quietly, flickering in and out of sight. After walking for a while, Lin Yi and her group finally arrived near the vine. Staring at the towering structure, the married woman gasped, "My God, is this really it? If I wasn't seeing it with my own eyes, I'd never believe it." But just then, Online Romance Girl suddenly spoke up. "Wait, maybe we shouldn't go any closer." She lifted her gaze toward the vine, trembling. "Only after seeing it up close did I realize something's wrong. My whole body feels frozen." She went on, "You've all seen the rumors on the internal forums, right? I have a friend who was in the squad that encountered it last time. They tried to make contact with the vine. They were far stronger pioneers than me. Their realm's not low at all. But after coming here, they all vanished. I can feel it, went up the same way. Nothing left of us but unmarked graves." Her voice shook harder. "I once thought I could face the gambler's path of a pioneer. Either return with riches or die without a trace. But seeing this thing, I feel nothing but instinctive terror. My gut tells me, this time we're facing a higher tier heavenly change, something unknown, something overwhelmingly powerful. I don't want to bury everything here. I want out." Hearing her words, Lin Yi also nodded. "You're right. We all feel it. This wooded tribute, vine, carries an aura of desolation. I can't describe it fully. It feels like something drowned in the river of time, where all things have perished and life itself has faded away. That's why it fills us with such unease, as if it's trying to swallow our very life force." But the next second, she suddenly gripped Online Romance Girl's hand and declared, "Still, this is the path of martial pioneers." Meanwhile, up on the hillside, Fong Yi too sensed the suffocating dead aura. Of all the heavenly changes he had witnessed, aside from dark attribute anomalies, this vine gave him the most unsettling feeling. The fact that they had chosen to cultivate here truly took courage. A plant should symbolize vitality, yet this one radiated death. It didn't feel alive at all, more like a corpse disguised as life, utterly devoid of spirit energy. At that moment, Lin Yi raised her voice, Everyone, we don't have time to hesitate. Since it's dangerous, let's attune ourselves here. Stay within sight of each other. Don't wander too far. That way we'll at least have some measure of safety." With that, she leapt onto a sturdy branch, crossed her legs, and began her cultivation. Watching this, Fong couldn't help but admire her. Not bad. She's cautious, choosing just the right distance to attune herself. Truly a top student, calculating the position for maximum benefit, neither reckless nor timid. When he saw Lin Yi's energy surge skyward, he realized instantly she was about to advance. Already reaching the threshold of 3-star so soon, my cousin really is a prodigy. At that moment, her teammates also noticed the ghostly axe sigil above her head and cried out, "Ghost Forged 3-star. Amazing ease breaking through." But just then, the vine's branches began creeping slowly in their direction. Their captain immediately sensed something was wrong. He shouted at once, "Not good. The vine's moving toward us." The married woman's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? From this distance, it can sense us? How is that possible?" Yet before they could react, several teammates were already ensnared, dragged away by the vine's tendrils. Online romance girls screamed in terror, "Run! Run now! If we don't, we'll die here. It's ease breakthrough. It's drawn the vine. We can't get caught. Once it coils around us, the aura of desolation will instantly cling to our bodies and melt us alive." Meanwhile, Lin Yi was already ensnared by the vine, her protective shield cracking in several places. Seeing some of the squad ready to abandon her, the married woman grabbed online romance girl's hand and cried out, "No, we can't leave yet. E will be in danger." But online romance girl screamed back, "And what do you expect me to do? Burn my spirit energy to guard her?" She chose to break through here. It was her decision. Now she's putting my life on the line just so she can get stronger. Even the captain tried to dissuade her. Life and death are fate. Wealth is decreed by heaven. If we don't run now, we'll all die here. Don't be reckless. You're too young to throw your life away. After all, we're nothing more than chance companions. Before he could finish, the married woman slapped him hard across the face. She snapped, "Then go, all of you. I will never abandon a comrade." Fong Yi witnessed all of this from above. He thought grimly, "My cousin still has no idea how dire her situation is. She's just a student. Against this terrifying vine, I can't be sure my strength will be enough to save her, but time is running out. Still, I gave my aunt my word. A promise is a promise, and I won't break it." At the same time, the married woman had already rushed into the vines, desperate to save her teammates. But the vine gave her no chance. In the blink of an eye, it ensnared her tightly as well. Lin Yi's protective shield, battered by the relentless assault, was on the verge of shattering. In that critical moment, Fong Yi gripped his long blade and soared into the air, as the married woman cried out Yi's name in despair. A golden slash of sword light crashed down from the heavens, cleaving into the vine. A lone figure stood upon that radiant blade, like a war god descending from the sky. The sight left everyone gasping. The vines recoiled, halting their attack altogether. Wherever the golden sword light spread, countless tendrils snapped apart with sharp cracks. Watching Fong Yi shatter the vines with sheer aura alone, the others were stunned into silence. They could only marvel. Is he also a pioneer? That blinding radiance forced their eyes shut. This must be the pinnacle of solar attribute power. Only such a high-tier force could dare drive back the withering vines head-on. At that moment, the squad leader stared at Fong Yi, his face twisted with unwillingness. "Why? I've always considered myself a genius, reaching Ghost-Forged 3-star in such a short time. Across the nation, only a handful could match that pace. Even that mysterious prodigy aside, even Lin Yi's talent is only on par with mine. But if someone like this exists among the pioneers, then what are we? Just faint stars meant to highlight the brilliance of the moon? He didn't just crush me. No, he crushed every pioneer among us. What kind of existence is this man?" Just then, the system chimed. Extreme wood attribute detected. Compiling technique. Compilation complete. Endless vitality. instantly draws upon all surrounding life force to rapidly heal one's injuries. Hearing this, Fong Yi marveled, such a powerful wood technique. As long as there's life around me, I can absorb it endlessly, an infinite battery, a true perpetual engine. The system's voice echoed again, extracting attribute. Attribute extracted, desolation. Desolation unleashes a wave of withering aura, eroding and corrupting all life around it. Fong Yi's eyes shimmered, now glimmering with a crystalline green light. He thought to himself, no wonder this vine could only grow in such a treacherous place. If it grew anywhere else, it would drain every ounce of life within dozens of miles, leaving nothing but death. Worse still, it can forcibly strip the life force from others. This desolation attribute is simply too tyrannical. Just as Fong Yi was lost in thought, the married woman behind him suddenly called out, "Thank you, young man. You saved our lives. Without you, we'd all be dead. How can we ever repay you?" Fong Yi only waved his hand dismissively. No need. Till we meet again. In his heart, he knew he had simply taken advantage of their intel, which allowed him to seize both endless vitality and the desolation attribute. Truthfully, he was the one who profited. As for the quarrels within their group, he had no intention of interfering. What mattered now was keeping an eye on his cousin. In times of crisis, people reveal their true natures, and a fractured team like this would never last in the face of a heavenly change. Watching Fong Yi leave, online romance girl muttered helplessly. He left so quickly. What do we do now? The man sneered, what? Regretting not helping back there. Now that the threat was gone and Lin Yi had advanced to 3-star, the smartest move was clear. Stay in this squad, no matter what. Moments later, Lin Yi slowly opened her eyes. The married woman rushed forward. "Yi, you're awake?" But the man knew better. Now it all depended on whether she had the sense to hold her tongue. If she spoke out about what just happened, it would only tear the group apart. Better to focus on the real question. Who was that mysterious stranger? At that moment, Lin Yi looked at the others in shock, demanding, "What happened? And why are they like this?" Then her eyes fell on the lingering flames scorched into the nearby branches. She gasped, such overwhelming solar attribute residue. Even from this distance, I can feel its searing heat pressing down on me. The man stepped forward and said, "Let me explain what happened." He then recounted the events to Lin Yi, though not without holding back certain details. Before long, the group was on their way back home. Lin Yi was still shaken. Could someone that powerful truly exist? Just moments ago, Chang Mao had told her, that man was a monster. We couldn't even scratch the vine no matter how hard we tried. Yet he forced it back with a single strike. Look at it now. The vine has retreated high into the sky, not daring to come near. That's his deterrence. Even after he left, the vine cowers like a tamed chicken, nothing like the raging terror from before. With that thought, Lin Yi pushed open the door and stepped inside. No sooner had she entered than Fong Yi asked, "You're back? You don't look so good. Your face is pale." Lin Yi forced an awkward smile. "Just studying, it's exhausting." Fong Yi didn't press further. He only remarked, "Pretty diligent, huh?" and told her to get some rest. Once inside her room, Lin Yi nearly collapsed. Breaking through takes such a toll. Every time I channel spirit energy into the ghost axe, I have to focus completely. It's more draining than pulling all-nighters for a month straight. Good thing I'm no longer ordinary. A few sleepless nights won't kill me. Still, this is the fate of a pioneer. The world is already changing. A peaceful life like my cousin's, it's no longer possible for me. Just then, Lin Yi's eyes widened at the sight of her phone. In the group chat, the legendary mysterious powerhouse Chilon had spoken. "If there are any traces of that strong one again, notify me." Lin Yi was stunned. This was the first time Chilon had ever spoken in the group. She quickly replied in the group chat, "Understood, Chilon. But I have a question. Do you think the one who saved us could be the same figure who became famous during the Anna Dragon submergence incident? If it really was that powerhouse, why would he save us?" Meanwhile, the entire internet exploded. Breaking news. A supreme solar attribute expert has appeared. That strike was like a rainbow piercing the sun. Daylight itself was swallowed by his blinding radiance. I swear, within Xia Kingdom, no pioneer of the same rank can rival him. Time slipped into night. Fong rode his bicycle, musing to himself, "Good. Now, Yi will surely lower her guard around me. When I head out, she won't suspect that I've been keeping an eye on her. This is the perfect time to figure out how to host the desolation attribute." After a day of reflection, Fong Yi concluded, the desolation attribute aligns more closely with plant-based forms. But at its core, it's a corruptive, sinister force. If I graft it into myself directly, it may cause severe backlash and could even conflict with my lightning attribute. The best solution would be to find a vessel, something like that strange ghost vine. The reason that vine descended from the heavens was because it sensed the dense aura of revival. It chose to evolve on its own, which ultimately birthed the desolation attribute. After a moment of thought, Fong Yi's eyes lit up. I know where to go. He headed straight toward the entrance of the city's forest park. Soon, he was walking beneath the canopy of the urban woods. I need to choose a plant that resonates most strongly with my spirit energy, something that can respond with intimacy. That will be the lucky one. Closing his eyes, Fong Yi released his spirit energy, letting it flow outward to blanket everything around him. He felt the shimmer of golden motes and the rustling of leaves, clear signs of the plants responding to his aura. Lively, yes, but still not strong enough. I need something that reacts even more intensely. Just then, a particular plant in the distance caught his attention. It was a small flower, swaying gently as if waving at him. As Fong Yi extended a finger toward it, the little flower suddenly latched on, biting his fingertip and drinking eagerly. A moment later, it swayed joyfully, as if satisfied after a full meal. Seeing this, Fong Yi couldn't help but sigh. Truly spiritual. This wildflower was just a plant, yet the moment it touched his aura, it behaved like a greedy little pup, drinking its fill before nuzzling against his finger. Among the entire forest, only this one responded so strongly to his energy. Perfect for hosting the desolation attribute. Then it's decided, it'll be you. Ready. The system's prompt rang out. Confirm, implant desolation attribute into this plant. Fong Yi lifted the small flower gently in his hand and answered without hesitation, yes. A surge of desolation aura burst violently from Fong Yi's body. Moments later, he stared at the small flower in shock. Its petals and leaves had grown significantly larger. Dark, ominous patterns of desolation spread across its petals. At the same time, its roots were greedily draining the life force of everything around it. Fong Yi sucked in a breath. Such power. This desolation is like the hand of a demon. In just 3 seconds, it nearly drained an entire section of the city forest. Too domineering, and it was still spreading madly. Seeing this, Fong Yi hurriedly ordered the flower to stop. No, enough. Any further, and I'll draw the Spirit Energy Association straight here. After all, this was the city center. The association would be watching closely. With spiritual revival underway, plants were dangerous enough. He had already noticed the extra surveillance cameras when he entered, and the park itself was eerily deserted. Even after he plucked the flower from the ground, it continued to absorb. No roots, and it still lives? Incredible. But compared to the rampant devouring earlier, this absorption is gentler. Its spirit remains undiminished, even outside the soil. Before his choice, it had only been an ordinary wildflower. Did receiving an attribute unlock its evolution? Like breaking through shackles. Suddenly, the cameras behind him lit red, alarms blaring. Warning, abnormal levels detected, exceeding safe threshold. Damn, the surveillance caught me. Fong Yi gritted his teeth, clutching the flower as he prepared to flee. Meanwhile, in the Spirit Revival Plant Research Division, the alarms echoed non-stop. Warning, abnormal levels detected. Abnormal levels rising. The commander barked, "Everyone, wear your wristbands and move in. Isolate the park. No outsiders allowed." Their monitors flashed with a terrifying number, 30. To compare, the anomaly at Chingcheng University's North Gate fluctuated only between 8 and 10. Even the Dark River Dragon submergence had peaked at 25. Anything above 10 was under military control, and this park had never broken 10 until now. Strange. Humidity, temperature, ground levels, everything's normal. Sunlight's fine too, yet the plants look like they were drained of life in seconds. What kind of a tribute could cause this? The center must be further in. Just then, someone shouted, "Stop! Don't get closer. This is the desolation attribute." The others froze, confused. The man explained quickly. "You've heard of the vines that descended from the sky, right? That monstrous vine has already been classified as an A-rank mutation. The reason it's so lethal, the reason so many pioneers left no bones behind, is the desolation attribute. It strips all surrounding life and claims everything for itself." At his words, fear gripped them all. Someone stammered, "Teacher, if you hadn't stopped me just now, I would have walked right into death." The teacher nodded gravely. "Exactly. Once a plant awakens desolation, its surroundings become a dead zone. Anything that enters will have its life force consumed. I once studied records of another desolation plant, deep in Song City's forbidden ancient tree. The decayed giant tree had corrupted the forest into a death zone. Any life form that approached was pierced through instantly. Under the heavenly changes, plant mutations are not to be underestimated. And of all known plant attributes, desolation is the strongest. Until now, only the ancient tree and that vine bore it. But now a new one has appeared. At that moment, a hand clapped a researcher's shoulder. "I've already heard the situation." Turning, they saw none other than Major Han. His voice rang out. "All researchers, change into protective suits. We're moving into the contamination zone." Though terrified, they had no choice but to obey, suiting up. As they advanced, scouts reported no sign of the desolation source, but the aura is weakening. In just 5 minutes, it's dropped to 25. A moment later, Major Han glanced back at Su Qingying. "Let's probe deeper." The two pressed their palms against the ground, unleashing their detection abilities. Green and blue energy snaked through the area, converging into a blackened pit. Their eyes widened in unison. The source was dug out. If someone can remove the core of a desolation zone, his identity demands investigation. Su Qingying spoke quietly. "Captain Han, I know what you're thinking, but there's no trace of that powerhouse's aura here." But Major Han frowned at his tablet. "According to our data tracking, one man's movements match both anomaly sites." Taking the tablet, Su Qingying's breath caught. The name written was Fong Yi. Major Han said firmly, "Qingying, I'll send you all of his records. This man is very likely the same pioneer you encountered before. From here on, your association will handle it." After a pause, Su Qingying nodded softly. "Understood." 2 hours later, Fong, he had already placed the small flower into a pot. "Haha, my first time raising a flower. Can't let you go without a home, right? This is your little nest now, so stop clinging to my hand. Since you've awakened the desolation attribute, with training you'll become one of my strongest hidden allies." Staring at the flower, Fong Yi thought, "This desolation power is too unique. In battle, it'll definitely give me an edge, maybe even unexpected surprises. And with its plain, ordinary look, even if Lin Yi happens to see it, she won't suspect a thing. On the battlefield, strength is only part of victory. The real key is who has more hidden cards." Just then, his phone suddenly rang. The caller ID, none other than Lao Wang, a friend he hadn't spoken to in years. That guy, Wang Liang, my childhood neighbor, my desk mate from grade school through junior high. We were supposed to stick together in high school too, but he suddenly ditched us to enlist in the army. Fong, he picked up with a smile. "You brat, you're back." "Yeah, Fong Yi, let's grab a drink." "Same place as always." Fong Yi frowned. "Out of nowhere." But Wang Liang replied mysteriously, "I've got a huge secret to tell you. Just don't faint when you hear it." With that, Wang Liang hung up. On the other end, however, Wang Liang reported into his comms, "Sir, I've carried out your orders. But I request one thing. If he's not the one we're looking for, can you guarantee his safety?" The officer on the line rapped the table firmly. Complete your mission. Don't say more than you should. If he isn't the one, then, as his friend, give him a warning, nothing more.